Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, today we've got two maps from two creators with differing levels of experience. First up, a creator who we've reviewed 15 times in the past, and they do like to experiment and do something a little bit different. And today's map, well, it's a bit of experimentation, but it actually still works for playability and looks absolutely stunning. We're going to follow that up with a creator we've reviewed once in the past, voted in by the BonBon Buddies over on Patreon. Yeah, the Friday map is now the Wednesday map. We've got a creator, say, reviewed once, episode 336. I gave them 12 stars, but for some reason no seal of approval, and hopefully we can put that right today with a more modern map from them. But before we do any of that, it's time for this. That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's first map is Lines of Nazca by a Random 5. Yeah, I believe this is when NASCAR racing started. Hey, what? Oh no, this is not where NASCAR racing started. Yes, we're off to Peru and the classical historic ancient lines dug into the ground, and wow, just wow. And also wow, there's plenty of wowing going on with today's map. There's your resources, lots of oil. Just don't, okay? Just don't. If you're going to build it, just don't. Fishing, if you've got Sunset Harbour, it's not really a fishing map, so just don't do that neither. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, no DLC required today. We do have a short list of requirements within the one-click collection. Nicely written description, which gives you a bit of background, because we like a little bit of background on these things, including settings for the tree brushes, if you want to have the tree brushes to match how Random has made the map to this point. And yeah, all of the information is there. Then off to the one-click collection, and there are a few bits down here, not too many at all. We'll be using the Peruvian Pampas theme and the Nemesis LUT and Peruvian Pampas theme, created of course by Random 5. And there's also an asset pack containing all of the Nazca lines, if actually what you want to do is basically put your Nazca lines in Stevenage or New York's Central Station, or yeah. Random has made them and shared them, and I think that's a really cool thing. Very, very cool thing indeed. So anyway, we've got a lush, fertile valley surrounded by desert. Looks really good. The theme and the LUT work very nicely indeed. You have a look at this road here. It is actually connected to the outside. So there's no traffic here. We will cover this. Don't worry, nothing is broken. This is actually by intention, and it's worked very well indeed, because we're in like the heart of Peru. You know, we're not exactly in the middle of Europe or the major conurbations in North America, or even like India, where the cities are cities there, I'll tell you. But what we've got here is a more sparsely populated area. We really don't want to have zillions and zillions of dummy trucks and cars rolling through just because they can. Now there will be some, as you'll see when we get to our, I'm going to call it the start square intersection. It's barely an intersection, but you'll get what I mean when we get down there. And we'll see a little bit of traffic rolling through from over here, and then basically that's it. It's just really very nice and lovely. Always good to have like a decent quality network which isn't completely overburdened. There's your intersection right there. That's about as complex as it gets. Well, it does get a bit more complex. It hits some traffic, just a little bit. It does get a little bit more complex, but that's the only complex intersection that matters. All the other complex intersections are tucked away on the edge of the map, and it's for gameplay purposes. It's a classic trick used by a few number of map makers, which means that we have outside connections, but the traffic is steered away from the start square so that you don't end up just heavily bogged down. The only traffic going to the start square is the little bit that you see here, and then anything that's actually going to anything that you build. So that's a nice touch, isn't it? Look at it. Look the way we transition to desert here. How sweet is this? It is so sweet. So sweet. Thank you, Mr. Truck Driver. He's been waiting to drive past for about 20 minutes, waiting for me to start recording, and then drove past. Good of him, wasn't it, I feel? Anyway, here's your more complex intersections. It looks a little bit like a Nazca line itself, this. It's a bit ugly. It's a little bit ugly, but it's right on the edge of the map, so does it really matter? You can see we've got some tunnels heading off there as well, with traffic emerging. And what we'll do is I'll follow this along. So yes, this is an outside connection that just links around to the outside intersections, just to keep some traffic away from there's a little bit that comes through the middle because it's very difficult to actually bypass everything. But this, you can see, we've got a few dots along here hiding underneath the mountains, and it's just dummy traffic. That's all this is, and it just makes the map a little bit more playable and a little bit more believable. But anyway, so yeah, so we have that that ugly intersection there. This has taken us right back to where we started. Now, I don't think we've ever done, well, we may have done a flyover where we've gone over the same patch twice, but if you ever look here, we have an underground highway taking traffic right the way through the heart of the map, and this is where all your traffic that you would have thought would have been on that winding road, well, they're not going to go on they're going to go the quickest route, aren't they? And that is why we have no traffic rolling along that road. Again, it's a nice touch that keeps the roads clear and clean, and I think it's a good thing. If you're one for having no that sort of tunnel underneath your city build, well, that's a different thing, but it is hidden, so who cares? Right. Now down here, this is nicer. Alright, this is tucked away, a little bit buried, a little bit hidden by trees. That's okay. I kind of wish, not that it matters. Where was the other? I'm trying to find. There it is, up there. I kind of wish that this one was buried in some way or whatever over here as well. But it really doesn't matter. Nobody's going to really look at anything within like a few meters of the edge of the map. These areas don't matter at all. Now look at this. We have the fertile valley. Look at the contrasting colours. It's a very striking map. Absolutely beautifully done. And again, plenty of hours been spent working on this. Gotta say, well worth it. Really glad you have. Really glad you have. Start square, I think, was down here. I've kind of lost track. I've been waylaid. It's certainly, start square does involve some of this green flat area. And nice looking river. A little bit slow flowing, so you're not really going to be pumping and drawing. You'll be playing this as a modder. As a modded game, definitely. Oh, I missed this. What's this going on down here? Not sure what the concrete glitching around that is. That's a bit weird. Anyway, it's a nice little detail area, but it's a weird concrete shape going on around it. Something's glitched out down there. Minor grumbles. Anyway, so there is that, and then we have some good looking mountains. Look at how this works. These are desert mountains. There's some Andy work going on here, I'll tell you. Andy work. Okay, right. Moving on. We've got these things made with the dirt paths, drawn out really very nicely. Again, this is all in the asset pack, so that you can grab them for yourself if you wanted to. These are just some of them. Here's another one. This one looks more like Pepe Le Pew to me. That little long, yeah, that's his spray, you know. Anyway, yeah, all good. That's not his real name. These are very nicely covered in the collection that Random Fibers put together for us. All of the script. That's Monkey. I think you worked that one out. Monkey throwing gang signs there. Random lines almost everywhere. Not random, because this is very, very strongly based on the real location, with one or two things moved so that they will fit for the gameplay only. But mostly that is realistic. And more lines down here. These ones I'm in two minds over. I like it from a distance. This distance is great. It's the hedge lines. I'm not entirely sold on the hedge lines. As you're getting closer, I mean, who's going to get in this close? I think I prefer my... I don't mind that style of detailing, but on this particular map I felt it needed to be a little bit more, shall we say, a little bit more complete. It's not that we haven't got the trees to spare. I mean, there's not really that many trees on the map. There are a good few, but not that many. Anyway, erosion lines look stunning. Absolutely stunning. I don't know what more to say. In fact, there's just so much stunning work on this map. It's almost beggars belief, doesn't it? But anyway, yeah, great erosion lines. Now, anybody heard of Maria Reicher? Right, well, she was kind of like the custodian, the curator of the lines for many years, sort of self-appointed. And she passed away in 1998. This was her. Although, like I say, it does kind of look a bit like a dude, but she was an old lady. I mean, and a legend in terms of Nazca. And I'm really glad the randoms just put a little artistic twist in the corner there. Plenty of credit for, I mean, just such a nice thing. That's such a nice thing. Anyway, right. Can I grumble? Can I grumble about this? About what? About this. This here. Can I grumble about this? Can I really grumble about this? I'm going to grumble about this. Look, that. Better. Look, if that's as bad as the map gets, what are we fighting over, eh? Okay, now there is a minor thing for me with this one, and that is the LOD on the paths. It really does. It's quite a close pop out. I have got ULOD running and various things tweaked and whatever. Yes, we could probably tweak it so it does that from a bit further out, but then you get some serious game lag. Just for me, I think I would have preferred an asset which wasn't going... But maybe that was the best that was available. Look, we can only work with what's available, can't we? And I'm going to say, with what's available, Random's done a very solid job here. But what do you think? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right corner of the screen, or the link in the description will take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. And make sure you're voting on the correct map, because there are 2 maps to vote on today. Because new systems. Oh yes. Well, what do I think of it? Well, I think Random has they've done it again, haven't they? They've just done it again. They've knocked the ball out of the park. They've gone for a specific area, and they've done something that nobody would even like. It's just a different level of imagination going on here. I've got to go definitely 4 stars. I'm going to go towards the higher end of 4 stars. It's a strong map. Looks very good, and I'm liking a lot. I'm liking the detailing as well. I am going to have to mark it down a little bit because of the LOD pop on the lines, because I think there's going to be a few screenshots that might be a little bit struggly. But of course, you can always tweak ULOD up for even better screenshots, and then twitch it back down for playing. Gameplay, it's a little bit quirky. It's very playable. It's a little bit quirky. Definitely more of a modders map though. So yeah, if you're running mods, you might like this one. I think it's definitely worth a seal of approval. So I'm going to do that, because most of my grumbles there were really petty, weren't they? Come on. But you know, I like a mumble and a grumble. A mumble and a grumble. And I like an intermission as well. And I like a second map review in the second show. So we'll do one right after an intermission. And so on to today's second map, requested by the Real Mandalorian over on Discord and voted in by the BonBonBuddies on Patreon. Yes, it's the Patreon voted map. Real fans of the show might remember this creator from the last time we reviewed them back in episode 336, just a little bit over 4 years ago. And that map from me got a very solid 12 stars. You didn't give it anything because, well, the viewer's choice hadn't quite started by that point. It was that long ago. Today's second map is Rowland Hills by stephenrmerrill. Okay, Stephen, this is actually a very solid playable map. Very solid and lots of good things about it. There's your start square, that's absolutely beautiful, just what you want. Loads of buildable space without too much to get in your way. The terrain heights, it's flat where it's flat, and there are hills where there are hills. I think you can work that out. We have resources. Now, field painting actually today works very well for me. The non-fertile areas are just big enough to work individually. And then if you've got Sunset Harbour and want to do some fishing, it's not really a fishing map, but it would work for fishing, which is okay. And then off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, we could use a one-click collection here. We don't have one. There's mass transit. You will need mass transit for this map. There's a list of things to subscribe to, including the Cedar Valley 4K theme and the Clay Relut. Tree Anarchy is there, along with intersection marking tool and all the usual bits and bobs, some bots and bibs, and there's even a custom bridge, the Rainbow Bridge as well. So yes, one-click collections, when you have a whole list of items about that long, is definitely a bit of a bonus, and I will remember to, or try to remember, because I know my brain, I will try to remember to include, look, intersection marking tool there. I will try to remember to include a link to my collections tutorial, just to help those of you that don't know how the Steam system works. It's really very simple. It just looks really scary. And it's not really as slick as it could be. I think that's a fair thing. Much like with anything on Steam, it's not really as slick as it could be. Right. In terms of processes, not the items, clearly. The items are slick. This is a slick looking interchange, isn't it? I like this. Liking some of the detailing. I'll say some, because we'll come back and have a look at this interchange a little bit later. But yeah, that bit of detailing there, really quite fond of that. And the tree painting on the map, on the whole, is very nice. Very nice. Not next level polished. I've got to really push the boat right through the canal and so forth. Not that level of detailing, but it's very nice detailing in terms of tree painting. Loving the shapes, loving the selection, and yeah, it's just pretty. Just a few little things. Like a few of you will know, I'm not a big fan of lots of trees growing out of cliff faces, because you don't tend to get lots of trees. Although you can sell it if it's done right. And while this isn't a map with lots of trees hanging out cliff faces, there are a few, and where they are, I'm not totally buying them. It does look a bit like tree painting. We have a few trees under the highways. Now, if you're not playing with Anarchy, these will not show through. Don't worry. I stick with Anarchy on so that everybody can see what's under the roads. Helps for detailers who want to do detailing on the road. The classic is the abandoned rail line with like grasses growing through it, and you can only do that with Anarchy switched on. So I leave it switched on for those creators that want to do that, and creators that don't want to do, like here, they clearly don't want trees showing through the road. Well, it won't show for you if you don't have Anarchy switched on, or if you have Anarchy and you don't have it switched on to show that. You can avoid this. You can avoid this as a player. I'm showing you that they're there because honestly, they don't need to be there. They really don't need to be there. So yeah, well, it's just one of those little like side issues on what's map. It doesn't affect the map. Another nice interchange here. We'll take a left and we'll head down towards the start square. Yes, it's just one of those people might think, oh, how are you docking detailing points for trees that you can't see? Well, because they shouldn't be there, even though you can't see them. It helps to separate the really good creators from the okay creators. The real good creators, the top level creators, will spend hours and hours and hours cleaning up every single aspect of the map, and there's just that. Now have a look at this highway, especially the one on the right. I had similar problems with this down in Merrickstowe, my very first map, and it's a wibbly wobbly highway with the segments just bending. Now that does happen. I believe it was a parallel road tool possibly, but if I just straighten these up using Move It, and you might say, oh, that's too much to ask somebody to do all the highways with Move It to straighten out the nose. Well, first of all, it is possible to have the segments running straight in the first place. It's just in settings with Fine Road Tool, I believe. But I did. You get down to Merrickstowe and you look at those highways, they were all like, well, one of them specifically was like this. And I went the entire length of the map. Where are we? It's about, what, 16 kilometers, is it? Something like that. I went the entire length of the map, straightening out every segment, turn by turn. And you can actually see me doing it on, I've got a time-lapse of me making Merrickstowe. And you can actually see me during that climax. The time-lapse. It climaxes with me straightening out roads. That was a nerdy climax, wasn't it? Anyway, there's your start square. That looks very playable. I mean, genuinely, that looks just... It's a good shape. It's a good shape and a good size. And it just entices you to want to build in there. And I think that's always adds to playability when you've got a start square that says, look, here, come on, let's get building. Let's get building. And that does exactly that for me. That does exactly. Now, you may have seen a few trees just clinging onto the edges of the roads that I haven't mentioned. Yeah, I'm not going to mention every single instance. You have your own eyes. You have your own eyes. So I'm going to leave. I don't spell every single thing out. I just point things out. I point things out, and then you know what you're looking for then, don't you? Now, with the rail is pretty slick. Okay, and I'm really liking the use of textures around the outside. Okay, it's probably wider than it would be in real life in terms of the amount of gravel that's spread. Yeah, because there are limitations within the game. Okay, there are limitations, and there are a few areas where it gets really wide like that, which is too wide in my opinion. But all told, I like what's been done here. It makes the rail pop. It made it easier for me to find on the map as well, which I'm thankful for. Sometimes I spend ages trying to work out where a rail route is compared to a road route. Sometimes they just blend in with each other. And I like what's been done there. And the routes are good. The routes are good. The entire networking route is very nice as well. And also, look at the shapes of those rivers. Look at the shapes of those rivers. I am loving the shape of the map and the way that it's broken up into buildable areas. I'm also really liking this. Okay, now this is a map which is mostly about highways running through flat land, rail running across flat land, and then we have this road. They've gone to the effort of building a road through the hills. It's a national road, clearly. Mass transit, you do need mass transit for this one. This national road coming through the hills is quite pleasing. Now, many a lesser creator, that road would have been horrific. And it's not. I thought that's why I zoomed in there to check it out. And it's really, really quite good. Now, okay, field painting. I'll show you what I meant by this. So first of all, we have here quite a bit of fertile land. So you want to do farming, makes sense on fields. But look, we've got a couple of decent sized oiled fields as well. So if actually what you want to do here is oil, and then where those fields are, maybe put warehouses or something like that, that would work also. That would work too. Now, okay, let's pick out a few of the other little minor errors, and they're all pretty minor errors. Like here, the rail clipping right through the road there. Yeah, the level crossing's kind of required there, I feel. A little bit of terrain glitching through where it's been squished really hard here. And also, there's actually a bit of a drop down on the terrain height here. We could do some traffic right about now, just to drop down, just to show. You can just about make. Oh, here we go. There's a tractor. It flies a little bit as it drops. It's not the world's worst. We've seen way worse than that, and recently. Here now, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? Absolutely nothing. It's an absolutely perfect intersection, but there are a few cases on the map where there's a missing pillar because it's tucked underneath a network, and that's the case there. I was going to tweak it, but then they appeared. It's a bit a strange thing. Now remember this intersection, so we come back here. I really liked this sort of detailing on this intersection, and that's fair dues, but there's a few minor talking points as well. Like here, this is just a bit of terrain glitching again, where we glitched through a hill. Roads are elevated at ground level, has just basically caused some shark's teeth there. And we also have some trees on the underside of this rock. Now it looks like it could be the trees are actually part of the asset, which is still a bad thing, but on this one the trees are actually genuinely trees underneath the rock clipping through, and so yeah, there's a bit of a negative score on that one as well in terms of detailing. Start square looks very good. Start square intersection, just a standard little trumpet intersection there. We have a tree. This is the start square intersection, so this counts double. There's a tree there, and also, uh-oh, a little splash of blue mantle on the underside. Also, have you noticed we've got a little bit of flickering on these pillars on the underside? Now, that is because of double assets on the same location. Two things fighting over the same space. If I grab that, pull one away, and grab that, and pull one away, there we go. And that's, yeah, that's stopped the flickering. It's very minor. But again, it's a start square intersection, and I didn't notice it anywhere else on the map. It could be all over the map, but that's the only place I spotted it. And that's the one place that you don't want it. Not in the start square, you know. Oh, loving the river. By the way, the river, good strong water flow. No shipping routes. There is an air route, but not the world's longest air route. But I haven't played haven't played with the airports for so long. I'm assuming it connects. I'm assuming it does. It must do. But, yeah, hey. Right, so we've got to the end of today's flyover. What do you think of today's second map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right corner of your screen, or the link in the description takes you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple, or a Patreon account. And remember, there are 2 votes. Vote on the correct map. Right, let's get to the point. What do I think of today's map? That's the important thing, isn't it? Now, can we match Falls Across the Board from 4 years ago? No, I'm afraid we can't. Aesthetically, this map is quite nice. I really like it. It might even be better because standards are always going up, so it's even harder now to get 4 stars across the board. But I feel it just doesn't quite have that panache of a 4-star map. It's a very high 3 stars, and it's really very nearly there. I'm not quite sure. I think if we go on to detailing, the detailing, there's a lot of niggly things, but there's also quite a lot of assets, and it doesn't really feel like it. So I'm going to go middly high 3 for detail. Whereas gameplay potential, apart from the things that need fixing, which would easily put this as a middle 4 map, I'm going to go for a medium-low 4-star map, because it looks very playable to me, and it's going to entice a lot of people, and it won't let you down, especially if you don't care about detailing that much. Rowland Hills by stephenrmerrill. If you just want to get in there and do some building, and you're not bothered about little fiddly bits, just little fiddly bits, you'll have a lot of fun with that one. I think you will. It's just got, in fact, it's probably going to be more fun than Nazca. Shh, don't tell Roland. So random I said that. Roland? Rowland Hills. Oh, I'm going extra mad. Thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. If you're still here, you're part of the 20 and out elite. Use the word for the day in the comments. Score yourself some population points, and I'll be back on Friday with another map in the Watch Map series. Have a great one. I'll see you then.